You have seen the first part of my chat with Sir Randy Salazar. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing to Rope Access Chat YouTube channel. Just recently, Sir Randy is recognized by the Department of Tourism for his contribution in the development of guiding canyoneering activities in the town of Badian in the southeast of Cebu. Um, Sir Randy, more power to you and congratulations. So folks, here's the second and concluding part of my chat with Sir Randy Salazar. I hope you enjoy and follow for more because I will be featuring very interesting persons in my coming episodes. Thank you very much and I appreciate it. Welcome back, Sir Randy. Before we took the short break, I hope it's just short. No? You were explaining about the safety or the lack thereof. Or is there anything you want to add to what you were telling us about the accidents and things that could be prevented during that accident on cave?
Uh, the thing, well, it's very difficult to say that we are able to have zero accidents because, as I said, what we are engaged in is high risk by itself in nature. So anything can happen. However, we are able to mitigate the risk as much as we can by putting in controls and managing the risk as much as we can. Example of that would be, let me just put in and gear towards rope access, which we can apply in outdoor rope activities as well. First thing before we do we do our rope access works, we do toolbox stock, which we can implement it on in the outdoor scenario before we start engaging. Make sure that everyone who is involved knows what they're getting into. The risk involves double checking all equipment, making sure that all equipments in the pile are actually functional. Get rid of all defective ones that did not pass inspections. Secondly is we always in the outdoors, we have the saying, if you rig the line, you're the first one to go down. So that actually is a way of making sure that you actually double check your setup when you rig the line.
Yeah.
We still practice that until now, that somebody has to test the ropes. But other than that, we also practice that when you rig your the rope, you always have it double checked by somebody else other than yourself, just to make sure. So two heads would be better than one. Those are preventables. Sometimes we should be doing that. I'm talking about the outdoor setup because we practice this in professional industrial access, that we are always tied in, or we are always working under controls. We have cows tails, we have fall arrests that helps us. But sometimes these are neglected in the outdoors, which is as easy as hooking up. But while we're working on the edge, sometimes because of the excitement of the adventure, people tend to forget the most basic of that, which is tying off. That's why, other than just being an adventurer, you need guys like me, for example, who are there. We're not gung ho to be the first one in, but rather than oversee, or like the daddy figure that looks after the rest of the team, to oversee to make sure that everyone's going to be safe. Somebody has to take that role. Or like when we go caving, not everybody goes inside the cave. There should be always volunteers to stay outside, so just in case something happens, we can call out for help. This have been long old practices that until now still holds true.
I agree with everything you said about safety consequences uh, of doing this kind of activity, Dad, Sir Randy. Could you give light to this. I've heard this many times before when I used to work with some cavers when I was still in Manila. I don't know if it's just a myth, uh, but he told me cavers are less uh, careful, or cavers apply less uh, maintenance work on their equipment. I think because of the kind of environment you're going through, no, equipment especially are degrades easily because of the kind of environment you're moving in. Uh, but does that mean your cavers are not really careful when they keep their equipment, when they're checking um, ropes, harnesses, the hardwares? Is there any truth to this? Before I move on with the next question, could you
I
give
would
a little light on this, Sir Randy?
I actually would like to beg to disagree that cavers are less careful. In fact, I would say that cavers are more careful generally than your regular rope access guys. For reasons, cavers do not have that leeway for mistakes because there will be no backup. There would be no second line. Good enough if you have enough equipment, you have enough rope to go down and have a double line. But the reality of it is most technical cavings which are happening are explorations. And weight is such a big factor to consider. So carrying two lines might be out of the question if it's needed. Yes, I would say during the early part of going down, if we can install two lines, yes, they would install two lines, but um, most of the time when you're already deeper inside the cave, it's just usually single rope techniques. And in fact, even this has already evolved because foreign expedition teams already use the 8 millimeter, no longer the 10.5 that we're used to. So we also have to adapt to that. Although in the Philippine setup, we're still embracing the 10.5 11 millimeter. But generally, when you have foreign expeditions coming in the country, they would be using Dynemas and 8 millimeters, and that's why we got introduced already to the 8 millimeters. In terms of the equipment, right after caving, they probably would see the direct aftermath. We just put this on a pile, but aftercare is given much attention after caving, post caving, for reasons most of the cavers in the country or even abroad do this not because it's a job, but it's more of a passion. So securing equipment is very expensive, and most of the time that these are the equipments that we have are hand-me-downs left by other expeditions, given to us by friends. So we have to do take care of it. Probably one which is not being actively enforced and followed would be the industrial rule of the expiration dates. So as long as there's no defect in the equipment, then it's gonna be used. Example, in the caving world right now, probably you see Jumars only in museums, but in the Philippine setups, we still use them as a set.
Okay.
So museum quality equipment still functional and still working.
Yeah.
Like and another example is the Ecrin Rock, which is technically discontinued and phased out already. But cavers actually give give up their Ecrin Rocks and still using it. But if you just follow the expiration clause, technically these helmets are already expired. But we follow certain checks. As long as there's no cracks, they're still good to go. I
Okay.
think on that aspect,
Yeah. So this it was just a myth. Okay. So you
yes.
just debunked the myth that cavers are careless, no, with equipment. Yeah, I believe um, carrying more than one rope would be a burden to cavers, no? Especially when you're going through those small spaces. Uh, yeah, and 8 millimeters of rope. You're
Yeah,
wow.
there are actually expeditions that use already 8 millimeters.
That's
So
very. I'm
but
already.
they're not as big as me. These are smaller.
Yeah, I'm
And it
already
takes a
scared.
while of getting used to because even the Inima, it takes a while for
Oh,
you to
yeah,
accept that as an anchor.
yeah. It already scares me to hang myself on 10.5 because the longer you hang on them, they become thinner
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thinner, right? Okay, and I still have those Jumar ascenders and some Equine rocks. They're still useful, no? Yeah, they're museum quality, but they do the job.
They
Okay.
still do the job.
Yes. So
And it's not just in the Philippines, but I guess generally it's the culture in the caving world that even the foreign nationals, Europeans and Americans still prefer the Equine rack over the new variants of the caving helmets.
yeah,
Probably they would change the light because the light has already evolved compared to what was before. But the helmet still remains as the Equine rack as the favorite.
I think one of the reasons why Equine Rock is still popular with cavers is the ease of boring holes, making holes
Yes,
for the what do you call the light that you use
the
with
lights.
uh, w- the the one with fire?
Very, uh, yeah. Before, when part of the allure of caving before is we were using the aceto generators or the ones with the naked light. You're using kalburo kung sa atin pa yung kalburo mixed with water to create methane, then we use that. However, evolution of caving as well. So the international community of cavers also have ruled out using open flame also is very dangerous because there are certain caves actually that have gas contents that might be flammable. So we have totally retired the open flame, the aceto generators, and everyone is already everyone is using electric light sources now
Mm.
because also of the evolution of better batteries, longer lasting. So I think that's the only thing that actually has happened. Um, yes, the aceto generators now are basically museum
Yeah,
pieces. We still have them. We would play with them from time to time, but active caving we usually we don't use them anymore.
yeah. So, Sir Randy, how about have you experienced anything? This is what we call in the safety industry as near misses, or any scary experience that you yourself experienced while doing rope rescue, rope access, or anything near miss that you are involved with. Do you have any
Actually,
experiences on that?
part of that actually would be accepting that there would be near misses and dangerous occurrences sometimes. We have to learn from when this happens. The good thing about that actually when we were doing our stint in Qatar, we were all forced to take the occupational safety and health certifications. So we had to take the NIBOSH, the National Board Examination Board for Occupational Safety and Health, and we have to pass that for us to be able to work as rescue guys in the industry. So that opened our eyes in terms of the safety practices, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable in the industrial setup. So you're able to use that. In terms of near misses, yes, most common actually are falling tools if you don't secure them properly.
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
Drop
more
object.
often than not, it would happen that, especially when your area where you're working is not contained. You probably heard me a couple of times in the airport when we
Yeah, yeah,
was getting mad because there were airport personnel going underneath where we're supposed to drop the glass, which is almost a ton ton of weight, so to them, oh, it hasn't fallen yet, but that is actually, if you would look at it, it could be considered a near miss or a dangerous occurrence when you have somebody right below where a hardest well, a fall hazard would happen. Often than not, I've seen so many unsafe practices of working on the edge without any restraints,
Yeah.
just because, and then they will tell you, well, I had this funny experience actually in Palawan. We were teaching them basic rope, the guides of, I would not mention the site because not, but you have to understand, we were teaching them basic rope techniques. And then we were teaching them how to climb the ropes, how to safely descend, how to change over. And this guy just goes up the tree and the cliff without any harnesses, because the reason is he's a bird's nest gatherer. So
Yeah.
these guys are actually used to not having equipment, and then it's a challenge actually to us for them to embrace the practices of safety that we would try to introduce, because they're so used to doing it without equipment. So I think that is the challenge we have in the Philippines. There's gradually already an acceptance that there's really a need for rope access professionals in the country. But ang kalaban natin na major dyan would be yung, oy, mas mura kami, pero yung bara-bara na trabaho. We see those billboards being put up by guys without helmets, without equipment, na tapang lang ang puhunan.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry because these guys are trying to make a living. However, it could be done, in my mind, the job can be done in a safer way, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because they would say, okay, rope access work is very expensive if we hire rope access professionals, but at the end of the day, you would realize actually that uh, in the Philippine setup, we are actually more affordable compared to what is out there in terms of in the international setup. So mas mura pa sa Pilipinas ang rope access, and you save more money actually, rather than hiring, with all due respect to our friends who have gondola businesses, having gondolas, or there are certain things actually that cannot be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, sir.
There are certain practices that mas effective mas effective pa ang pag-employ ng rope access, because using heavy equipment might just be impractical or too expensive.
Yes. Sir
So
Randy,
that
you
yes.
lost your video. Huh? I'm just
Oh,
okay.
let me. That's what I'm trying to. Hmm. Okay, sorry, it's turned off. All right,
Yes.
sorry, turn it.
So
You got turned off.
it is unfortunate and very sad to hear these things happening in the Philippines right now. Because would you attribute this to lack of legislation and rules uh, about working at heights? Because yeah, you experience working abroad, and their rules and their law regarding working at height is very much different. You cannot go higher than 6 feet without going through uh, working at heights certification, or if you go higher, you need to go through rope access technician courses, which is very expensive, and of course you would also need equipment. uh,
Yes, I think the problem that we have here, for example, in the country, would be um, the cost of salary for rope access technicians, if we have one. That it doesn't, if for example, if you're going to get IRATA or SPRAT certification in country and decide to just work in the country, it might not be practical for reasons of the cost of the certification of getting certified IRATA or SPRAT. But you have the experience, and you have the technical know-how in doing so. I don't have a problem with that, as long as uh, uh, putting it simply, my core belief would be, um, you can have all the papers in the world, all the certifications in the world, to present to me, but you will never be able to fake skill. Once we're out there, we will know if you really know. So to
I,
me, what is very important is the knowledge, the understanding, the safety practices that you do, that you understand it, because you can show me all the certification in the world, but do not know the basic of safety. It doesn't matter. Your certificates don't matter. And
yes.
that's a problem that we have in the country right now, because um certification, international certification is very expensive. Plus we would have local certification. Okay, thus we have local certification, we have the Bosch, we have the Kosh, but why are we seeing, if we have Bosch and Kosh certifications, then why are we seeing a lot of dangerous practices in working at heights that still happen today, when we're supposed to be mandatory Kosh and Bosch certification? With all due respect to people.
So Randy.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
very clear. Okay.
I can actually say the hard truth of what's happening in country, which to me, yes, it's probably birth pains, because the acceptance of industrial rope access in the country is still young. So we're learning, we're evolving. A lot of companies now are accepting, actually, okay, that these are actually safe. There are safety practices that we cannot shortcut, but we're not yet there yet. We're getting there. Hopefully, in the next few years, probably we'll be seeing much improvements when it comes to working at height and rope access as well. In terms of legislation, I'm not familiar, but I would say we have actually ample rules or ample laws. It's just a matter of implementing it by heart, and not just for the sake of compliance.
Yeah.
You have to understand, if we're just doing this because we're doing the paperwork just for the sake of compliance, if something happens in our line of work, it's gonna cost lives. There would be no second takes if something happens.
Yeah, definitely, Sir Randy. No? With the advent of and the popularity of getting into rope access trainings uh, here and abroad, because I believe we already have an IRATA training center here in the Philippines, but it's in Luzon. I think it's
Mhm.
in Luzon. And during your experience in Qatar, I believe it's not a requirement
No.
for uh, technicians and rescuers to be certified under these uh, organizations like SPRAT, IRATA, and
Yeah.
IRA, all these things. So you can just um, go there uh, under what um, qualifications, Sir Randy?
Actually, yeah, we got hired because we're actually outdoor guys. Like, I got hired in Qatar because I was doing volunteer work for rope rescues here locally. And I had the medical knowledge. I'm a registered nurse. So that combination of me knowing medical and knowing technical actually was a plus factor to get hired to do that project and see if it works. From what I understand now, they already have evolved that the new batches of rescue guys there are now Irata. Have decided to take Irata, but they pay. I think they pay their certifications. Uh, but on our part, what we were asked was to get the Nibosh. We had to take the Nibosh
Mhm.
certification because it's an exam, and the company actually paid half of it, so which is a very good thing for us, because taking the Nibosh is very expensive as well. So half being paid by the company is such a big deal for us. And once you get certified, it's just like a PRC license. You're a safety officer for life.
Yeah, that's the uh, trade-off, no?
Yes.
And it's a good deal. So right now, Sir Randy, you're saying that you cannot work outside, especially if you're coming here in the Philippines or from the Philippines, you cannot apply for a job for the same job that you did without the certification. Is that what you're trying to say?
Uh,
Is that a
like here
requirement now?
in the Philippines,
No, abroad.
not necessarily. You can actually work as long as you have the you have the experience, especially when companies would hire, especially in the oil and gas, you have to pass by what they would call, I forgot the term, there's a term for that, where you get trained. So there's a process of mentorship that's going to happen and assessments to see if you indeed know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you won't be allowed to go on site and do rescues without being assessed first. So there's
Okay.
a check and balance that happens, which I believe even other companies would be doing that, because you can hire somebody based on his resume, and then once he arrives on site, you will actually know right there and then if he's faking it or not, based on how he conducts himself, especially with a very physical
Yeah.
work in the rope industry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the you have to take into consideration the nature of the work. So the reason I ask is I'd like to give some inspiration to our Filipino kababayan, our countrymen. Uh, they're looking outwards, to work outside and to earn uh, bigger compensation compared to staying here. I'm sorry to say, um, as per our experiences, many Filipinos are going abroad because of the greener pasture. And
Yes.
I'd like to hear from you, so we can inspire others. Yeah, it is true. Training certification is expensive, but fortunately nowadays we have IRATA training center here in the Philippines, so you don't have to go abroad to train. Okay, and it's a lot cheaper now. No,
Yes.
if you take if you take them here. So, Sir Randy, my next question for you is eh, it is a little personal, but it's up to you if you could indulge us. No, doing rope access or rope rescue as a profession. Um, what did what did it help you with? No, because I understand before you left for Qatar, you are already a registered nurse and a businessman, right?
Mm. Yes.
So, did you have any regret? Did you lose anything, or did you gain a lot of something out of this? And yeah, I understand you're also a father and a husband, a family man. When you left,
Yes.
what's your consideration about this?
Well, for the younger generation, do it while you're still young. For reasons that we will not get any younger, and as we grow older, we will not be as strong as we used to be. So, if you're considering doing rope access work, start while you're still young, and also make plans for retirement, because you never, well, I can only probably speak for myself. There will be certain times that you will not be as strong as you were 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And the reality of it is, younger guys will come along who are more stronger. As long as the skills are properly passed, they might even surpass our skills. So don't be afraid actually for younger guys to surpass us. That's part of the evolution. And the reality of it is, if you are a company guy, ergo, the younger ones would be a lot more cheaper than seasoned guys. So there will be always sunsets in our careers. There would be a time actually that you won't be the star of the show, because there would be somebody who's faster, stronger than you. You have to accept that, so you have to make the plan. So while you're earning from rope access, uh, make a future plan. Make sure that you're able to have a retirement plan as well, save as much as you can if you do, and or probably do a fallback plan as well. But I would highly recommend it, especially for the younger generation, because the income that you get from rope access is definitely above industry, above the pay is a cut above the rest from your regular 8 to 5 job because of its high risk nature. So it, you get probably paid a day's wage working overseas for a month's worth of salary back here. Well, that is the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's depending also on where you're assigned. Especially if you have the chance and you're cream of the crop and you get the chance to work offshore, for example, those are where the big monies are. But of course, there would be trade-off, especially if you're a family man, being away from home, being away from family, especially if your deployment is in the oil and gas industry. You're basically working as an overseas Filipino worker, which will be on site, so you don't get to see your family for days at a time. But salary wise, it's very rewarding. My last recommendations actually is, if you're gonna be deciding to get certified body, would there be look into getting job employment overseas, because that is where you're able to get your return of investment. If you're going to get IRATE certified, then I would like to presume that you are looking into working overseas, not unless you own an IRATA, well, a rope access company locally here, which is also a good thing.
Yeah.
But running a company by yourself, having a company by yourself, especially a rope access company, is easier said than done, because there are a
Yes.
lot of factors that you need to consider as well. So at the end of the day, the best line of thinking actually is work as a rope access technician, because all you have to think about at the end of the day is how to go up safely, how to go down safely, and then do your job, and after that get paid. You don't have to think about the other peripheral problems that comes along when you're owning your own company.
Yeah. So, aside from getting this certification, Sir Randy, would you suggest or advise on additional trades? Because, yeah, you are a rope access technician, but if you do not know how to use tools, or you could be stuck in just one thing, no, right? For example, here in the Philippines, the most popular job or work for rope access technicians are is this window cleaning.
No cleaning, yeah.
Yeah. So, would you advise our listeners or those who are interested in this kind of job to take on other trades to
Yeah,
couple with rope access?
definitely. For reasons, rope access is only your tool to get to your place of work.
Yeah.
So being IRATA certified or being SPRAT certified is only just a certification that you can go to your place of work, which will be at height, of difficult access safely. But
Mhm.
it doesn't actually gives you the certification that you can do the job which is being asked by your client. So you have to learn skills as well that comes with that, like welding, non-direct testing,
Yeah.
sealants, other than window cleaning. Window cleaning would be probably the most basic of it.
Yes.
So we have friends actually who are doing well in the industry right now because they have learned skills other than just cleaning glasses.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I do highly recommend learning other skills other than that. Like us, for example, we got hired to do rope rescue as a part of the rescue team because we had medical backgrounds,
Yes.
which was a plus factor because it's easy for us to understand the situation in case the paramedic is not able to get on site or where the location of the victims. We can act as secondary paramedics and relay information
Yes.
because we have the medical background.
Yes. That's very informative, no, Sir Randy. But in your case, you were nurses before you became rope access technician. right? Or you were nurses before you used your skills to work or to earn,
Yes.
right? So yes. So that
Actually, we used, kung sa atin pa sa Tagalog, yung mga kabalastugan natin noon sa outdoors, napagkitaan natin, whoever thought that we will be making money or
out of
earn
the
a livelihood out of ropes. Na ropes were just a passion before because we
yes,
wanted to, we would just wanted to test the extremes.
yeah.
And now it's being used for industrial.
So you already touched on the maybe in the future of rope access in the Philippines, no? But the future in general, of would you would you suggest to those who are interested to get into this kind of work or activities to get into rope access, in industrial rope access, or to um, high angle rope rescue?
Actually, both. If you're going to be doing what do you call this?
Rope access.
Putting it simply, if your target is rope access, and making a profession out of it, I highly recommend. We're going to be seeing a standardized approach already in rope access in the Philippines, especially the urban environments now are going vertical, so condominiums and everything. So there's really a high demand actually for rope access technicians in country right now. Kumbaga, um, uh, we need more rope rescue technicians. We're actually in a shortage in the country right now because there's limited. Most of the seasoned rope access technicians, if given the chance, will work abroad for the basic reasons of greener pastures. They will get paid 5 times, 6 times more than what they will be getting here locally.
Yeah.
In terms of rescue rope rescue becomes a passion. It's not necessarily a profession because in the Philippines, for example, I would have to be honest that if an incident will happen, it is our Bureau of Fire Protection or the BFP Search and Rescue Unit that has the lead when it comes to technical rescue. So they will be the organics which are in charge of rope rescue. Us, we will always be civilian volunteers. So in an incident, we are there to augment the organics. So like in the case of the Naga landslide that happened, the technical rescue guys actually presented themselves to the incident commander and the BFPSRU that, okay, we have this equipment, we have this capability, so use us accordingly. But at the end of the day, the decision makers will be the organics, the ones who are in service. So definitely we are just civilian volunteers. Kahit nung nangyari yung Thailand incident as well, if you'd notice, there were calls for technical rescues. The Philippines was actually one of the responders no na nag-volunteer. But definitely kung natuloy pa yung Pilipinas, we will be under the chain of command of the organics as well, which is the Thai military.
Yes, thank you very much. Very insightful, no, Sir Randy. Sir Randy, before we took the break, you were talking about very insightful things about getting into rope rescue or rope access. I would just like to ask you about your work in Qatar. How long did you work in the Middle East, in that country? For how long?
We our stint actually took us almost 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
So,
And we were actually asked to stay, but I opted to not renew my contract. So you guys were sent in.
okay, so you stay there for 3 years, and this 3 years is a straight 3 years from the time you arrive in country until you left, or
Yeah, we actually get for us we get 6 months on and then 2 weeks off, then 6 months on again, then 2 weeks off, cycle for 6 years. Our seniors would get three, like our rescue lead would get 3 months, then 2 weeks, then 3 months, 2 weeks. Us get 6.
Okay, so your deployment is like or similar to deployments of soldiers or military going abroad.
Yes.
6 months because of the nature of work. It's really it could get into you, right? And sometimes I believe people who work as rope rescuers or EMTs get uh, PTSD as well.
Yes.
So any of you or any of your companions or teammates experience this thing while you were there?
Well, there will be working overseas actually will have its highs and lows, especially if you're a family man, because yung pinakakalaban mo would be lungkot being away from the family. So it's just a
Yeah.
matter of keeping yourself busy. So what we did was, while you're there for work, so you immerse yourself with work. You were always working all the time. Even our boss, who was British, actually did not want to have some rest days as well. So we were always working, doing something to keep ourselves busy, so time will pass. Although nabanggit mo na rin gaano katagal yung stint. From what I understand, when it comes naman sa offshore ng mga deployments, the offshore deployments are different. It's usually a 28-day rotation, then a 28-day off, then 28 days again. So we know people also who are in offshore, pero yun mas harsher environment siya.
Yeah, and the isolation is really
Isolation talaga.
getting into you. Okay. So you said your managing director or your lead person is
Ex-British commando
okay, so he was used to being
with
deployed.
the military. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a plus factor actually, because he knew how to handle guys, especially Filipinos.
Okay, so yeah. You said was he the only uh other nationality from your team, or do you have other
Well,
other team?
we are part of the security group, so most of the security group were composed by different nationalities. British, guys from the UK, South Africa, Nepal,
Oh,
the paramedic was Filipino, us rescue guys were Filipino, but our lead was then we were augmented by um what do you call this, there were nurses also deployed in the hospitals, which are mixed races, Indians, Filipinos, Nepalese. Yeah.
so Sir Randy, I just like to know what this lead guy or your manager thought about thought of Filipino workers under him. What did he tell you? Did he like your work ethics, or did he have a lot of complaints about you? I'm sure you're not lazy. I'm sure of that.
Well,
But
to, to put it simply, actually, uh, as testament to how the team was during our stint there, was um, the Raslafan Fire and Rescue, which is the go-to default rescue of the area, would actually go during weekends, which is a Friday, to
uh-huh.
side by side train with us, because we were doing best practices. So in short, hindi naman sa nagbubuhat ng bangko, we set the bar high actually on the industrial
Oh,
area as the go-to rescue, that even the supposedly lead fire and rescue actually was doing side by side training with us. So I think it speaks a lot in terms of the capabilities and the work ethics of the Filipino crew that was there. The only complaint probably of our rescue one, or our lead guy, would be sometimes in the heat of doing things, is his team actually reverts to speaking the native tongue.
yeah.
So what you would be hearing in the radio chatter if there's a rescue, and it took a while for us to adjust, was we were speaking in dialect. We were all speaking in Cebuano. So
Yeah.
if you were asking actually the Tagalog, the Filipino Tagalogs, what we were talking about, they couldn't understand because we were speaking in a different language. So
Yeah.
we would be called in, and then he would be cautioning us and reminding us that to speak in the English language because we are the only ones that. So the good thing about it is we actually have operational secrecy because nobody understands what we're talking about in the radio channels. So
Yeah.
that's the only complaint. But other than that, I would like to believe that they look at us Filipinos as hard workers.
Mhm.
We Everybody complains about works. There would be some aspects about work that we will not like, and we will voice out. We Filipinos are not scared of doing that. However, at the end of the day, we always get the job done, whatever task is being asked. So we have the penchant of doing things the best way we could. So
Yeah.
given the fact that that's the reason why this new project, from what I heard, a majority part of what who were hired were actually Filipinos again
Oh,
because of that work ethic.
whoa.
They like the work ethics of the Filipinos because um we will get the job done. We will not get the job done just for the sake of getting it done, but we will do it accordingly to what is expected as best results. And it's not just actually reflective with the rope access. One of the reasons why also the Filipino nurses are in demand.
Mhm.
One of the reasons why Filipino engineers are in demand because of the strong work ethics of Filipino. We are able to communicate properly in terms of the English language.
Yeah.
Other than that, despite adversity, we are a fun-loving culture.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's
That's
a if it's a bad situation, we will be making jokes out of it. We will be laughing. We'll be making light of the situation. So we're easy to work with in general.
yeah, I've heard the same thing, no, working abroad. Yeah, you mentioned it well, and it made me very proud of our culture, of our work ethics, of our being Filipinos
Yes.
abroad. No, of course you will not uh, stay long in that kind of job if your employer is not happy with the way you work. Of course,
Yeah.
definitely they would kick you out. These Filipinos are good for nothing. But definitely, it's a plus factor that, like you mentioned, we are fun-loving people. No? Actually, I believe we are one of the happiest people in the planet. No, even if things are
We're always laughing. We're
yeah,
always
we're
making
always
jokes.
laughing. We always look for ways to have fun, uh,
Yes.
even if we are in a dire situation. No? So,
Yes.
Sir Randy, thank you very much. Everything you said is very inspiring. I hope our listener, our um those who see and watch this video learn from you, um, pick up something from you from this interview. So Randy, I would like to give you this opportunity to promote something that you do right now, or is there any activity or any hobbies that you're into right now? Because I see behind you you have a lot of blades, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of posts from your social media. You're forging blades, and please promote any activities that you will be doing in the future and where they will be held and what are the activities to be you will be leading on, no? So Randy, please take this time.
Actually, part of the retirement plan, as you will see at the back of me, are actually different Filipino traditional blades. I'm one of the admins of the Facebook page Filipino Traditional Blades. So if you want to get to know more about the Filipino culture and the bladed weaponry, because the Filipino martial arts is a big thing in the country right now, I'm not an FMA practitioner, just to set things in perspective, but I do am a respectable collector of Filipino traditional blades. So if you want to learn about the different bladed weaponry about the country, visit the Facebook page Filipino Traditional Blades, or if you chance by to be in Cebu, I'd be happy to welcome you here so I could share with you the things I know about our different bladed weaponry of the country.
So you made this weapon. It's not just collection. You also
I,
make them, right?
I do actually learn to forge blades so that I would be at par when talking to the different pandays. But my advocacy is to be able to help keep the tradition of blacksmithing in the country through the different regions. So the different blades actually are coming from the different regions. So me learning how to make blades is for me to be able to understand the language also of our pandays. My specialty when it comes to blades would be survival blades, but not the traditional ones.
Okay.
These blades are actually made from different parts of the country.
But you have your own foundry at home, or
Yes,
backyard foundry, right? So you
yes, I do.
so
I do
good.
repairs and I do make blades from time to time
Okay.
as a hobby.
How about so Randy? How about any activities like guiding, mentorship? Do you have anything in the future or coming, like the
Uh,
one you did in Badian?
we will the trainings will come probably depending on the calendar and the budget of the Department of Tourism where we do our consultancy work. They have calendar plans for the different areas, but I'm happy to say that the Kawasan Canyoneering and the Alegria Canyoneering are already back. So now people get to experience the entire length of the canyons as it was back in 2010. So they can start from Alegria and at Kawasan. So operations have reopened last October 26. So it's all good now, and support the local communities, the guides. It's a great help for the livelihood of the local community. If tourists who come and visit the Cebu would patronize also these tourism spots. As
Yeah.
for us, we don't do active guiding anymore because
Okay.
we're kind of busy already.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much, Sir Randy. Everything you said is clear, very inspiring, and it's a good news to know that the Badian and the canyoneering is now open again to public. No, and I hope the tourist comes in and they experience this, because I had no I think 8 years ago, and it was very fun. It's full of fun. It's a very long canyoneering activity, and you will be wet for the whole day. So after canyoneering, you have to prepare your pain relievers.
And I'm proud to say actually that you get to experience the activity much safely right now because andyan yung pangalan namin dyan nakatatak dyan So if something goes
Yes,
wrong, kami rin yung mananagot.
yes, that's another good news, that the guides are properly trained to do these things, right?
Hopefully they listen to to what we shared.
Yeah, this
But
is the
we're
this is
better
the
than
aim.
what it was before, yeah.
Yeah, this is the aim of the tourism industry, or the Department of Tourism of the Philippines. And they are very fortunate to have you and Sir Ramon Vidal as
Yes.
instructors and guiding mentors of these canyoneering guides. No, so Randy, I hope you had a good time talking with me. Uh,
Thank you very much for inviting me.
yeah, thank you very much. It's my pleasure, sir, that you allowed me to interview you and to give your insight and share your experiences about rope rescue, rope access, and caving. No, I hope I can invite you again in the future. And thank you very much for generously sharing your uh, expertise on this subject. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Once again, good afternoon, Sir Randy Salazar.
Salamat po.
there you had it with Sir Randy Salazar. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope also that you learned something from his views, his experience, and his advice regarding rope access and rope rescue. Please like, comment, or subscribe to Rope Access Chat YouTube channel. Please tune in next week because I have a very interesting person as my guest. He's a skydiver, a rock climber, caver, mountaineer, a businessman, and a good friend of mine. So tune in and hope to see you soon. Thank you.